Go. I call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Being recorded live on CNET's YouTube channel tonight. First up is public comments. Anybody on or would like to comment on anything on or off the agenda? Mikey Vanko, please come up.
Hi, my name is Mikey Vanko. I'm Vanko Road Engineering. I'm here on behalf of the owner of 184 Genesis Drive. The owner's here. We're building a residential house on that property. Back in December of 2023, we applied for a zoning permit, a septic permit, and a driveway permit and a building permit, which we obtained. Unfortunately, I missed it. The zoning officer missed it. That house needed to be sprinkled per the subdivision plan. Which is causing really a hardship on the owner. We did not realize that was required. I know your ordinance requires, your subdivision ordinance 215-26 requires that if the house is on inside the protection water supply source, you need, there's 3 options in that ordinance. On the subdivision plan, it does says the house needs to be sprinkled. So on behalf of the owner, I'm here to see if there's something that could be done, either land development plan, modern land development plan, allow us to choose out of those 3 options what can be done. Because right beside his house is a 70,000-gallon pond, which a fire company could use to drop water if they have to, or a holding tank is allowed, or their sprinkler systems. I realize it's not an action agenda tonight, so you can't act on it. The township, would like to say the township staff's been very nice working with me on this and everything. I appreciate their help. But I'd like to say, ask the supervisors to consider if there's anything we could do to help this owner out with the cost of doing this.
I got a question for you. You said about a pond. Is there a dry hydrant in the pond?
Not right now, there is not. That is an option we could do if we had to, which is fine.
So what are you putting out there as potential solutions?
Either put a dry hydrant in the pond, which would help all 4 houses on that road, or do a 4,000-gallon holding tank as required by the ordinance.
The purpose of those 2 sources of water is to what? To,
Provide water source for the fire company to come to pump water from.
but not for a sprinkler system or an alternative type
Right.
of sprinkler system.
Right, instead of doing a sprinkler system inside the house, which since he has a well out there, he's going to probably have a holding tank and maybe an auxiliary pump to do the sprinkler system. We got the well drilled today, and I just found out before I came here that we hit roughly 20 gallons per minute. We're doing the testing tomorrow to see exactly what we have. So that would determine what I need to do for sprinkler design to finalize it.
All right. Well, obviously, we can't give you a decision tonight.
I
so-
understand that. I'm just asking if there's something we could talk to you guys about.
Yeah, I think, from what I understand, part of the problem is that the subdivision land development plan requires the sprinklers in the home,
That's correct.
and our hands may be tied. I'm just saying that just from my knowledge of how these things go. Because usually that will stand for 21 years.
I just didn't know if we can do a moderate change to that plan or not.
Okay, well, I would be happy to look into it, but I'm not making any promises.
I understand that.
Does any of the other supervisors have any questions?
And I believe the main issue is here that this was missed and the house is already,
It's under roof, it's
It's under roof.
joint construction, it's under roof.
because
being
normally
constructed.
something like this you plan in from the beginning
Correct.
and put in.
Yes.
So you're looking for an alternative to the sprinkler
Yes.
system because the house is a
Well,
certain
how-
level of completion.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. How far finished is the house?
We were finishing the wiring this week. Rough plumbing's done, rough electrical, mechanicals are done. So once the electrical's done, we could theoretically get inspections to start drywalling, insulating and drywall.
Okay, so the drywall is not installed yet.
Not yet. Installation would be framing inspections and all that first before. we
I mean,
go to
it's still
drywall.
feasible to place a sprinkler system in there, right?
Yes. Nothing's closed up yet.
Mm-hmm.
That's correct.
And having not looked at the subdivision plan, there are other houses on the same plan?
Yes,
And are those houses built?
yes.
Or-
They're built and they have sprinklers.
And they have sprinkler
Yes,
systems in them?
Yes.
Okay.
I think we have a legal opinion already on this, don't we?
And there's other houses planned on the
No,
same,
this is
this is the last of
house.
the subdivision,
Yes.
okay, just for my
No,
clarification.
this is the last house.
But the other houses are built, completed, and have the sprinkler systems in place. Yeah.
Just, anything you can do to help the owner, we deeply appreciate it. If you can't, I understand, we're just here to ask. Doesn't hurt to ask.
All right, well, we'll check on it. I know we have, did have something in with the attorney, but I don't want to give an answer until
Right.
we check, make sure that the alternative is not a suitable replacement.
That's all I'm asking. If you can look at the alternatives and let me know, that's all I'm asking for.
Yep, we're gonna do what council requires,
I
so,
understand, but,
all right.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You guys have a good evening.
Yeah.
You too.
Anybody else like to speak on any items on or off the agenda relative to the township? Seeing nobody?
On or off, right?
Yep.
I just happen to be a homeowner on that road, Genesis Drive, and I'm confused at how he got to building that house when we were building, we were told we couldn't even go forward with getting our plan approved until we had that sprinkler system designed, which I think was totally ridiculous at that time, but I feel really bad because the whole thing was crap, but that was when I came here to talk about, this ordinance. So you said anything on the agenda too?
On or off the agenda, yes.
So this ordinance that you're considering tonight, I mean, reading through it, it doesn't seem to have any basis to be approved by the supervisors. I mean,
Well,
when I'm reading through this, it doesn't, like it has, one of the first thing it says is whereas the township of Half Moon has within its boundary volunteer fire departments, ambulance services, and other emergency rescue service organizations.
It's a model ordinance, it's not we couldn't adopt it tonight even if we wanted to. And I don't think that's gonna be the case, but it's definitely up for discussion.
I mean, I could continue to go on, but it's just, to me, like I highlighted things all throughout it that don't seem to make good sense to me. So that's my comment.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you. Well, and, is it Michelle?
Yes.
So I know we're gonna have questions, so certainly if your questions don't get answered when we answer our questions, please bring forth your additional questions.
Okay, anybody else? Next up, approval of the minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of March 14th, 2024 Supervisors meeting?
So moved.
A motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
Moving second, any discussion by the board? Call for the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, approved. Consent agenda, next up, this would be ratification of the bills list for 030924 to 032224, general fund $16,641.11, fire protection fund $23,550, open space preservation fund the amount of $50. And ratification of the bills list for 032324 to 040524 from the general fund in the amount of $33,617.06. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Moving second. Any discussion by the board? Call for the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Next up, Port Matilda Fire Company administration discussion. Mike's gonna be the,
You get some budget for.
you got picked, huh?
Whoever doesn't know me, Mike Moyer, vice president of the fire company. Dawn is the chief. Josh is the president, and Sheila is the secretary. It's the last COG meeting. The Halfmoon Valley or Bowling Valley COG. It was brought to our attention that there's a lot of rumors going on. And we watched your meeting two meetings ago, I think it was.
Oh, last month, yeah.
Yeah, and I just we gave you a copy of text of what happened and how this all started. But we're here to put the rumors to rest. So if you have questions or concerns, we're here to answer them.
Are you speaking about the treasurer?
That and the stuff that was said at the end of the last meeting.
Okay. All right, well, we can begin at the beginning, I guess.
But yeah, I mean, whatever you have for us, we're here to answer.
All right, well, that's good. Do you guys officially have a treasurer right now? Or are you between treasurers?
We use the Nittany brokerage for treasurer.
Have you broke-
Nitty
That's-
brokerage?
Yes.
That's Patty Bennett.
Right. And Josh and Sheena are the acting treasurer that gives her the list of bills, signs the checks, whatever. So, yes, we do, but no, we don't.
But she's the treasurer for the Upper Bald Eagle cog.
Yeah, but she was a fire company treasurer first, and then COG brought her on because they liked what she was doing.
Actually, Jay Dean is the
Yeah,
treasurer.
J. Dean's
For the
the
COG.
treasurer.
The cog.
Patty Bennett has been described to me or referred to as the bookkeeper, the accountant, but never the treasurer. And Brian Hoffman was always identified as the treasurer. So I just want to be clear about,
Brian
Reference.
was the treasurer per se, but also the treasurer of the fire company did was compile the list of bills for Patty to pay him.
right, but he is he was the treasurer of the fire company as elected or appointed by the
Right.
fire company board. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. I wanted to point out something with regard to the agreement between the COG, the Upper Bald Eagle Halfmoon COG, and the fire company, and that is that it says right in the agreement that an independent treasurer shall be hired to handle all transactions and bookkeeping for the Port Matilda Fire Company accounts. Fees for the treasurer will be paid by the Port Matilda Fire Company from the municipal funds with no increase to payments by the municipalities, meaning that you use the budget that you have to pay for it. We don't provide additional funding for that.
And I think at this point, we're paying that out of the fundraiser account.
Well, no, you're paying for that out of the municipal accounts.
Or should be.
No, she gets paid for the COG and gets paid by the fundraiser account, right? Yeah. She's acting in two different spots.
I'm just reading what the agreement says should happen. Since the treasurer will be paid by municipal funds, decisions in regard to hiring and removal of treasurer will be a joint decision between the Upper Bald Eagle Halfmoon COG and the Port Matilda Fire Company. During any interim periods when no treasurer is appointed, the Upper Bald Eagle Halfmoon COG shall be in possession of all accounting software and backups and will be responsible for payment of necessary expenditures from the Port Matilda Fire Company accounts. Port Matilda Fire Company shall receive electronic backups from any accounting software or reports upon request. And this is the agreement, the signed
Yeah,
agreement.
and that's referring to the COG money,
From-
which is the municipal money, which is J. Dean and Patty combined. So that's not the fundraiser.
All
account.
it says is we have to have an independent treasurer, and the treasurer is to be paid from the municipal funds.
Right.
That's
And-
all this says.
Yeah, and that's what you're doing with Patty.
And I'm
on the
not,
COG
I'm not
side.
saying there's anything wrong here.
No, I'm
And I
just saying
actually would prefer, if we're gonna identify a treasurer for the fire company, that would be Patty. Because she is a CPA. She, can
Patty
do.
was originally brought on in 19 because of the same situation.
Mhm. I understand, Mike. The other thing that is in this agreement that, as far as I know, has not been done, I've not been aware of it, is there's a requirement for an audit, an annual audit. Again, that is something that we need to talk about, but that hasn't been done as far as I.
Well, I was under the impression after the last COG meeting, and correct me if I'm wrong, that this audit is gonna happen as soon as tax season's over.
Well, that
Right.
was, we had a conversation at the last meeting.
There was conversation.
Was it about the audit, or was it?
It was about
What
the
was it
audit.
about?
They brought up about.
It's about
the audit.
budget too.
budget and the audit as well? There was a lot
Well,
of
the,
things
the
happening.
borough,
Right.
the borough called for the audit, is gonna call for the audit if there isn't one done.
Well, and that's a requirement of the agreement, so I think we need
We're fine
to,
with it. We don't deny it.
I think we all need to have a joint
Lieutenant.
discussion about
Yeah.
what we're all supposed to be doing. I think that'd be a good idea.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think there's a little bit of a
But,
confusion.
Well, I think a lot of the confusion is because there's two separate accounts. There's the COG, which is all the municipal funds, and then the fire company has the fundraiser, which I'm assuming you meant when you said the slush fund a meeting ago.
Now, there were, well, I wasn't talking about a particular account, but we talking about years ago or talking?
No, I'm talking about last meeting, you said the slush fund.
Before, 2014.
Well, we talked about it. I don't recall exactly what we talked
But
about, but
we don't know what that is. We all looked at each other like, what the heck is a slush fund?
slush fund.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't remember what.
it
you
wasn't
said.
our words.
What's that?
We have the fundraiser account, which all our
Right.
fundraising goes in.
Right, your fundraising account is your money. I mean, it's the fire company has total control over your fundraisers. You know, whatever you guys do, you got a boot drive, whatever you do, that's your stuff, that's not us.
Right,
And
and,
anything we're concerned with is making sure that when the municipalities, you know, ship the money, you know, it goes through Jadine, I guess she's the treasurer at this point, but it gets shipped over there, that money gets sent to what the municipalities allocate.
Right, and we don't touch that money without the okay of the golf board.
Right.
which money, oh, you mean,
The municipality money. There's not a dime spent of that COG money or the municipality money that's in the COG without the COG approving.
I don't disagree.
And if there is, there's a breakdown somewhere else that we don't know about.
Well, that's why we do, you know, we're
I
supposed
don't
to
know
have
what,
an audit.
we go through the billing every meeting.
Yeah, that's what
We
I'm
re-
saying, so,
When we review as required in the report, we also, or in the agreement, we also review the expenditures from the fundraising account. That's a requirement of the agreement, and we do that.
But we don't
We
control.
go through the general ledger and we go through, you know, we don't control it, but there's a reporting requirement for expenditures, that's all. And we do that every month.
Quarterly, correct?
quarterly.
It doesn't really say quarterly here.
It does on the agenda for the call.
Well, it says here, Port Matilda Fire Company will provide a written report to the Upper Boiled Eagle Halfmoon COG of any and all purchases and expenditures from said account for the previous year to the Upper Boiled Eagle Halfmoon COG for the February meeting. I don't know what that means. Any accounting data, copy, or backup or written report shall be provided to the Upper Boiled Eagle Halfmoon COG by the Port Matilda Fire Company at any time upon request. But we go over the building every month, both the municipal accounts as well as, we even go over the grant expenditures. We just did that. We just had that reviewed.
Yeah, well, the grant setup right now, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the grants go through the call no matter what, right?
Yeah, yeah.
It's that we don't even have control of those. I mean, the only thing the fire company has true control of is the fundraising.
Well, you guys decide how to spend the grant money. That was the
Right.
list we went through, you remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, right, but it
Right.
still goes through the call.
The monies from the
Yeah.
grant come into the COG and are then spent out, right. But the
Right.
to your point, I think the grants are very specific, because that's how grants are written.
Right.
Is there for specific expenditures, so
And
there is
the
no
one he-
question on
The
what
one
it
he's
can be spent
referring
on.
to was every item we went through.
My point is, we review this, Port Matilda and
Well,
the
that's
COG
what we're saying.
in every
so
meeting,
We're
so.
trying to put the rumors to rest.
Like it. Okay,
We're seeing where we're being accused of, I don't want to say stealing, but misappropriations. Where in the heck is that at? Because if there is, we want to correct it.
Current
Okay.
rumors of misappropriation?
Yes.
For current,
Yes.
okay.
And they
Can you-
referred to that
can you
in
be
the
more
last
specific?
COG meeting when they, yeah, slush fund.
Okay, I think those comments were in reference to something that happened 20 years ago, which we
Well,
said
30 years ago.
should not
Which
come
is-
into play today.
Which is why the COG, the Upper Bald Eagle COG was started in the first place, to make sure that the money that got sent for the engine purchases I mean, you and I go back a long ways,
Well,
and,
yeah,
and you know that
32 years,
many,
so-
many years ago, there was an incident, and I did refer to it at the last meeting, where the truck wasn't being paid for, and it wasn't you, so I don't want to accuse anybody, nobody here. But, you know, the money was being sent over by the townships, and the truck wasn't being paid for, and the bank was going to repossess it. And that's why the Upper Bold Eagle cog got started, and Lee Pressler got involved with it, and, you know, tried to get community support. I think they did. They helped you.
Well, Lee's the one that dug them out, by 2002, I think it was.
Right. Yeah, Lee got the committee together, but there was a process set in place between the municipalities that are served by your fire company and the fire company to make sure that, you know, the trucks got paid for and make sure that some of the bills got paid. And, I mean, I know you guys had a heck of a squeeze for a long time by just trying to stay afloat, and it was tough. But, you know, I don't think anybody's accusing anybody of mismanagement at this point. I know there's a lot of back and forth, and that you know, sometimes it's old time ago, but sometimes it's more modern.
Well, I know there was also reference to an email that was sent by one of our, I won't say former members, but, and as you can see in the text we gave you, that isn't the case. We questioned why the bills were late, and that's what started it.
Okay. Is that what this text is?
Yeah. I mean,
Text
you can see
string.
the first line on the text. Why do we have an outstanding balance?
Okay. So,
And when we as officers ask for better transparency of the bills, that's when the crap started to come down.
All right,
You
well,
know-
I take it you have that situation under control at this point. Somewhat.
Yeah, we're right there. I mean, if we don't, we're right on the edge.
Yeah, I don't think anybody was this board was accusing anybody of mismanagement. I mean, sometimes you have treasurers that don't necessarily pay the bills on time or whatever, and I don't know what the
I
situation
mean,
is.
if you can look through that, I mean,
Well,
you're gonna see
it was, yeah, you were having a serious problem.
Yeah,
There was a serious problem, and I think you guys kind of did deal with it, so. But now you're in a situation where you don't have.
well, we don't want the misconception out there either. If we have questions or rumors, we want to put them to bed. So,
I think we understood why the bills were getting paid late. Because, yeah, and
Yeah.
this explains that.
yeah. And when we question it, we're the bad guys.
For the
No.
people in the audience who might have questions for Mr. Moyer, when the supervisors get wrapped around here, I will definitely, I'll get you back there. Anybody have any other questions in regard to this matter?
So just to clarify, going forward, Patty's the treasurer and will, for the fire company as well as COG, and will be paying the bills.
Patty's been paying the bill since 19.
I would,
All the treasurer, the fire company did since 19 is get the mail or whatever, the bills. Sort the bills by category, were they COG or were they fundraising? And where they found it in that budget. And then forward it to Patty to pay out of the appropriate account.
now, before we can do that, we have to have a meeting between the fire company and the COG and agree upon that. And the first thing we ought to do is make sure that Patty wants to do it. I believe she should be the one doing it, and I think she's certainly being paid to do it. I'm just saying that I think we need to have that joint discussion like we have every month. But this time we need to discuss, because and once again, the agreement says that the COG and the fire company need to agree upon the treasurer. That's all I'm saying. So at the next COG meeting, we ought to make that decision and clarify that once and for all.
We have no problem with
You
that.
guys can get it in writing, and we can get it in writing, so everybody understands, so.
And the next meeting's, I don't know what the first Tuesday in May is, but that's,
7th, I think.
we ought to do it then and get it done.
Yeah, I mean.
I agree that's who should be doing it. I'm just being cautious and saying, we need to have the COG group together there in the room with the fire company to make the decision. per the agreement.
Yes, sir, in the back.
Dave Hogger, I confess that having just looked at the last meeting, seen that just a night or so ago, the word slush fund did come up in relation to this, and now, Mr. Piper said something on the effect that they have money to do stuff now, they have a slush fund. Slush fund might not have been the best way to say it, because they have their fundraising money. Slush fund has a connotation of,
Extra.
unregulated money. So maybe, I understand why they might have taken that the wrong way.
Yeah, well, I didn't see it as being an insult, but, I apologize if it wasn't intended to insult.
And that's why we're here, to solve it before it gets further.
Right.
I mean, our intention is to visit all 5 municipalities in the next month.
Well, I think that would be good. I think that's,
And you're the second of the 5.
And then this issue can be put on the agenda for the COG for next month.
I would hope.
It will be.
Yeah.
Amy's the secretary,
Yeah.
so she can make that.
I will do that.
There we go. It's done. Thank you.
Good.
you got any other good or bad news from Fort Matilda Fire Company for us?
I have additional question, if that's okay.
Sure.
So you gave us some information on this Pennsylvania Fire Recovery Service, and we can hold this conversation if you want, because we also have this ordinance on the agenda, and
Right.
they may
That's what we're.
they may
That-
delete
that-
one out than the other.
Well, that's
So
why we're
okay,
planning on
so
being there for both.
we can
the
discuss it now or wait. I'm fine with that, but I do want to
Right.
get more information about this
Yeah, I mean,
recovery service.
we can do it now, or we can do it then. It doesn't
I don't care.
I'm fine.
If the majority of the board is okay with moving that on the agenda, number 8 up to number 6.5 there. Because we have road bids in between, but if everybody's okay with that, we'll just continue that discussion now.
We're going to move item 8 on the agenda up.
Yep,
Okay, in place of 7.
yep.
Move
Push
7
7
down.
back to 8.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
Everybody?
I'm fine. I mean, we're all kind of on the same page now, so.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
fine with us.
Before we move, I have a question.
Sure.
The agreement that Ron has, how did that come about? And who was it between? And is it renewed every year or?
Okay, I'll explain it. Agreement between Fort Matilda Volunteer Fire Company and Upper Bald Eagle Halfmoon Council of Governments. Wherefore the parties of this agreement, Fort Matilda Volunteer Fire Company, hereafter referred to as Fort Matilda Fire Company, or the PMFC, and the Upper Bald Eagle Halfmoon Council of Governments, desire to enter into a contractual relationship for financial purposes. Term. The term of this agreement shall begin on April 1st, 2014, and shall remain in force through May 1st, 2015. And it has the purpose of the agreement is for the Upper Bald Eagle Halfmoon COG to manage the finances of the Fort Matilda Fire Company with the exceptions mentioned later in this document. This is not a fire service agreement and only relates to the financial affairs of the Fort Matilda Fire Company. General power, Upper Bald Eagle Halfmoon COG shall have full power and authority to manage the finances of all the Fort Matilda Fire Company accounts, with the exception of the fundraising account. Management of finances, including collecting revenues from member municipalities, payment of bills, providing for expenditures, providing for audits, and making decisions based on financial soundness versus the need for purchase of any equipment, gear, apparatus, or any capital expenditures. One member of the Fort Matilda Fire Company, president or designee, shall remain an authorized signer on all accounts. All checks shall require at least 2 signatures. It has other sections here, outside contracts, acquisition or sale, and things governing those things. Fundraising account, what needs to happen there. Treasurer, as I already read. It has responsibilities of the Fort Matilda Fire Company treasurer. It says budget, the Port Matilda Fire Company shall work with the Upper Bald Eagle Halfmoon COG and treasurer to create a budget and short and long-term plan to be presented to the member municipalities by the September Upper Bald Eagle Halfmoon COG meeting. Has meetings in terms of, says the administrative and or fire officers will be present at all Upper Bald Eagle Halfmoon COG meetings, with the exception of unavailability due to a call or other unforeseen circumstance. The officers shall also make themselves available to be present at any member municipality meeting upon request. And item 10 says the Upper Bald Eagle Halfmoon COG shall have the authority to approve up to $10,000 for any expenditure requested by the Port Matilda Fire Company. Amounts in excess of this amount, not of an urgent emergency nature, must return to the member municipalities for approval. And it says Port Matilda may spend $1,000 without prior approval. This entire agreement between Port Matilda Fire Company and Upper Bald Eagle Halfmoon COG. This is the entire agreement. Any modifications to this agreement need to be in writing and agreed to by both parties. This agreement will automatically renew on the termination date each year unless either party requests changes in writing at least 60 days prior to the contract end date. And it's witnessed and it's signed by the board members at the time, and that was in 2014. I guess it was April 1st.
Are the supervisors comfortable with the fact that it was signed in 2014?
I am.
I'm fine with it.
I mean, the question is, are all 5 municipalities comfortable with it?
Yeah, and that's what would be a good question to ask the COG. And can I get a copy of that particular agreement?
Amy,
Public document, yeah.
You want to put that on the agenda for the next call meeting? We'll just bring it up just to clarify and make sure everyone's on the same page. Thanks.
No problem.
You have anything else, Tammy?
Well, I wasn't sure if Ron had anything else, or if there was any follow-up to your question. So, I mean, obviously, we have this, are we moving this ordinance up, or where are we at here?
Well, we're just going over the rules for
Discussion of it.
Mr. Hughes, but we can start the ordinance discussion.
Okay.
I guess I'll probably start out here. Can you explain to me, and maybe you're not the person, but maybe you are since you're here. When you guys go to a fire or a rescue situation or whatever, and currently, are you allowed to bill for like the accident recovery, if you have to use the jaws of life, you got tools, fuel, whatever? Are you allowed to bill insurance companies for any of that stuff?
Yes,
You are?
yes. But when it comes, if we send the bills, the billing company, we use a third-party bill, which is what they give you.
Right.
Or Jaws can actually give you, but the, without the ordinance, they don't have teeth to enforce it. They claim they would rather have the ordinance, they need to enforce it.
The billing
The
company?
billing company. And there's a lot of insurance companies that ask the billing company for a copy of the ordinance for that particular municipality.
But you're talking specifically about an ordinance to be able to bill auto insurers for traffic accidents where you are employing your resources.
Yeah, currently, we only bill for vehicle incidents.
For out-of-state only? Out-of-state people?
We'll bill the insurance for everybody. It's similar to what the ambulance does. But if our residents of any of the 5 municipalities, the insurance doesn't pay it, we drop it at that, unless it's a DUI or something like that. But we don't bill for fires, and we don't bill our residents unless it's a criminal act.
Okay, so you're looking for something to cement in going to automobile accidents in particular.
Yeah, right now we're billing for auto accidents, or auto incidents. It can be a car on fire or hazardous materials or
Right.
whatever. But,
Or a trucking company dumps over a fuel tank or something.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
and the whole thing is why should our taxpayers pay the bill to replace our equipment when the person's from 3 states away going down 99 is in a wreck? Why should you as a taxpayer be paying for their coverage? but that's the biggest part of our calls.
Well, I think that makes sense.
It does to me too, but that's what we're seeing on a lot of the public comments.
Well, I know people are sort of fired up on public comments. I talked to a number of people today, and some people I didn't get a chance to talk to, but I sent them a text. What I wanted to find out tonight, because I knew you guys were coming over in particular, was, what is the issue? Is it, I don't want to double bill like our residents or something like that. And I understand it because you clarified, so.
Yeah, if the insurance is done paying and you're a resident, it's over. It's like buying the membership in the ambulance, except we extended to our whole coverage area. So if you're a resident within the 5 municipalities, it's over.
Can you give me an idea, somewhere in the neighborhood, doesn't have to be an exact price. Generally, if you guys are called out, let's just say an automobile accident, it's just banged up or whatever, you get the jaws of life out, you cut the door open. What's that generally, what kind of cost do we associate with that?
We just got paid for one.
I have the number
Do
here.
you?
So, we had a tractor trailer that wrecked on 99 in Houston Township area. We were there for about an hour and a half. And they ran off the road, hit the guardrail. The only thing we used was traffic control and a little bit of oil dry. And we just received a check, I actually just got it today in the mail, for $2,788.43.
We're talking a substantial
It's a
amount of
good
money
chunk
for you
of money,
guys.
yes.
Yeah.
And we actually, as the executive side of the fire company, we just had a meeting last night with Money Market guy, and we are taking that money and putting in a money market at, what was that, like 5% or 6%? Which, our plan with that is to put that towards replacement of apparatus and building stuff. So we're looking at, this is extra income that we didn't have, that the money market then can actually make us more money
Yep.
for, I mean, the price of vehicles and stuff is crazy nowadays.
What percentage of emergency calls do you get called out on, do you think that they don't pay, or insurance companies refuse to pay? You just had to guess.
I thought it was 40% that what I read.
40%. It's in the packet.
It's in the
So,
minutes
so
too.
you got 60% that's
Yeah.
basically stiffing the fire company
Right.
on services that are provided.
Which I believe that's better than EMS's return on their billing, I believe. I'm not-
Yeah. Well,
Don't quote me on that.
They've got a different set of issues than you guys do.
Yeah.
What I was concerned about was, I wasn't sure what the purpose of the ordinance was. Obviously to raise funds, and that's okay. But I didn't want it to come back and, it's like our township residents are already given a substantial chunk of money, and you, like I said, you cleared that up. But my other concern was that, just because we pass an ordinance doesn't mean it's law in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. I mean, we could say tomorrow morning that the President of the United States has to give everybody $1,000 cash.
Right.
And it ain't gonna happen, so,
And the billing company wants it, so when they go after the insurance to pay it, they can say, there's an ordinance right here. You go through that township or borough or whatever, and you had a wreck, you're responsible to pay it, just like paying the tow company.
I would just say that insurance companies are governed by state and federal law, okay? And the problem I have with the idea of an ordinance is that I do not believe that we have the authority to hold an insurance company accountable to make a payment. Okay, they are governed, because Pennsylvania has an insurance commission, and the federal government has jurisdiction as well. They're national companies, okay? And each state has to have an agreement with every insurance company on the terms and conditions by which they can charge for premiums, they can pay out claims, etc. And now I'm not saying we're not going to do anything, but I just wanted to clarify that the purpose of this ordinance was to allow the fire company to bill auto insurance companies for vehicular accidents no matter where they occur, but within any of the township, the jurisdictions of the townships.
Right.
Is that correct? Is that what it's specifically for?
For residents, yes. For non-residents, if the insurance doesn't pay, the billing company's gonna go after the non-residents.
But you're saying residents of Pennsylvania?
No, of our coverage area.
Okay, so that bothers me because I'm gonna tell you
Well,
why.
I think maybe
He said outside.
Mike reversed it.
Outside the coverage area.
Yes.
Okay, good. That's a good
And you can
clarification.
see on that email we gave you from the resource recovery, that there's already 10 us within Center County billing,
But
using them,
I wonder.
So you do use,
the
the-
LLC.
this is
yeah.
your third company party, the fire company, okay. And these are the additional ones
They're the
besides you
ones in
guys in
Center
our
County that
area.
use it.
So
Okay.
do
They
you-
use them.
So do you know if any of the other fire companies, like Bowlesburg or Center Hall,
just
like
gonna say.
have an ordinance similar that's in place? Because I
know
understand,
I know Harris Township does.
if it gives you more teeth to get the money back, that's fine, but I think the one that we saw, to me, it seemed a little too broad. It wasn't just for what you're talking about. So I think if we could
Well,
look at another example, like that just gives you what you need, so it has a little more,
Yeah, I've never saw it, but I
Okay.
know Worth has one and Taylor has one.
well, that's, I think, the what we
I
have,
think
but that
that's the
seems a
copy
little
that we
too.
have.
The one that you gave, the
Yeah,
code,
that's
that's
Taylor's.
Taylor's.
I
That's,
didn't know Worth had one until.
But it says the
The
same
last
thing as
one.
Yeah.
well.
Was it?
yeah.
I don't know, I never saw
And-
it.
Well, and I,
But we can make it be what we feel is,
I mean, my recommendation to you is
Yeah.
have your solicitor write it.
Well, what I want to make clear is the reason for the ordinance. And that is to be able to bill an auto insurance companies, very specific, for accidents that you respond to, that Port Matilda Fire Company responds to.
Auto incident.
Auto incidences, not
Vehicle.
going to people's houses, not, you know,
Not putting out
No,
the
we
fire.
don't bill for
Yeah.
fires.
that's why I'm saying,
right.
I
we
shouldn't
need,
say that, we bill for auto incidents, which can include car fire.
right. I'm just trying to be,
But we don't bill, if there's a fire at the house right down the road,
The-
we don't bill for it.
I understood.
and your specific for auto incidences for out of area residents.
We bill for them all,
You,
but we only go after the ones.
but
out
if
of the
insurance
area.
doesn't pay, you're
Well,
okay.
then-
It's over.
Right, and I
Unless they're
think that
DUI or
needs to be clarified in this ordinance, so I think it would be good to see an ordinance from more than one of these other 10 entities that have one. Because the ordinance that we have in front of us, which was used by Taylor,
It's pretty
is very
open.
broad, and it doesn't get to the problem. And it does, it covers more than what you guys are after.
That's
So
my
I think
biggest
that's our
concern.
concern, is
Yep.
it's too broad, and it doesn't address the issue.
Yeah, there's a question back there. Yes, sir.
My question was, the ordinance that we saw online, the ordinance draft, I think that's the big.
That's what
That's
Taylor
the one that we're
Township
talking
has.
about, yeah,
Yeah.
The
that's,
way it's written, I don't know who wrote it. but
Somebody
the
at
way
Taylor
it's-
Township,
The way
probably.
it's written, it got a lot of people upset because it makes you think, if I have a kitchen fire, and if you guys rip turnout gear or lose something, the insurance doesn't pay for it, I'm on a hole for $10,000.
right, and I think that's
But-
our
That's
concern.
Well,
What you're
I wanna
saying
clear-
is perfectly fine, because that's the way all
If you
fire
look-
companies in
if you-
Pennsylvania know
If you look
operate.
at our statement on our page, on our Facebook page, we saw that too, and we addressed it.
Well, I don't want to make a statement about that. This ordinance, before it was posted as part of the agenda, was reviewed by the solicitor. Okay, it could have very well been our ordinance, not Taylor Township's, not Worth Township's. It says pretty much the same thing, and it's all encompassing. It says emergency service can bill anybody for anything at any time, for services, for equipment, for material, or anything else they deem necessary. And that was way over the top for me, because I remember you actually at the COG meeting saying that you wanted an ordinance that would allow you to bill auto insurance companies for accidents, and, where you were providing those services, and I didn't object to that, and I said, yeah, fine. But what was written went way beyond that scope. And that's where my major concern was with what we had presented to us for this meeting, so.
Well, it sounds But for once, we're all on the same page, so
Yeah,
I think we should
absolutely.
go with that, and
Right.
There was another clause under paragraph 5 that the township sets by fees by resolution, which apparently is what you would be allowed to charge. Do you know if Taylor or Worth Township has a fee schedule?
The billing company has a fee schedule.
Okay, but in order to do that, the municipalities are supposed to adopt a fee schedule. They have to adopt it as part of the ordinance, which is usually done by
On their
resolution.
website, you see their fee schedule.
All right, well, we'll have
think we
to,
Because
can
that's
come
the other
up
thing,
with-
is we don't see the fee schedule.
right,
Well, it's on their website.
yeah, we'll have to,
this
we'll
time's
take a
doing
look.
it, it would be their.
It's on their
Yeah.
fees, their website, okay.
I think we can come up with something tailored to fit that need.
I mean,
Right.
the fee schedule, the reason behind it is, so it's covered across the board. We're billing the same as Philadelphia is billed. The company uses that in all 5 states.
So it's a uniform rate.
A
Yeah.
uniform rate across the
And
state, yeah.
they bill for I didn't know this till a little bit ago. They had in West Virginia now, so they have 5 states. And they use the same billing schedule for all of them.
I think this is something we need to work on and draft something that meets that specific need.
Amy, is it possible to get a couple copies, if any of these have any? We don't need like one from everybody, but if we can get 2 or 3 examples, if any of these other entities on this email have something,
Maybe Harris.
you know, Harris. Yes.
Harris Township, Bollesburg Fire Company has been using it
Probably the
since they
closest
came out.
comparison.
Right,
In
that's right.
like 2002 or 3.
Okay.
And when we get examples, a question that I would like to have answered is, and if anybody from Taylor can speak to that, is have they seen a benefit as to having an ordinance in place as a result?
Okay.
And do we know, like, you know, if Taylor and Worth have this ordinance in place, or an ordinance like this, has there been a beneficial response because they have something in place as opposed
The
to?
one he's talking about, just, well, I can show you, I can pull it up later or some other time. Some of the insurance companies are asking for the ordinance, and it's noted right in this worksheet they give us.
Okay.
And you're requesting it because this service that you use is requesting it, because
Right.
they see a difference if the ordinance is
Right.
in place, so that's.
This service is seeing that difference then?
Right.
Okay.
Do you know if Port Matilda Borough and Houston have an ordinance?
Port Matilda Borough told us they're gonna act on theirs next week. Yeah, and Houston is on their agenda for the 6th.
Yeah, the first Monday.
Okay, but you don't know that they haven't already given you one, is my point. They haven't already given you an ordinance,
No,
and neither has Houston, right?
right, it's on their books for the next week.
Okay, all right.
Have they drafted their own, or are they going off this one that Taylor gave us?
I think the borough is using that one because their solicitor, which is the one that wrote Taylor's, said they don't need one to enforce it. So I think they were using Taylor.
Okay. Okay.
Ours might be different, but I think it'll accomplish what you're looking for.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm just looking for some so I can send a billing company
Yeah.
and say, here, if you need
Yeah.
it, here it is.
Yeah.
Well, it's a shame that somebody can get in the car and drive, back to Ohio or Florida or something, and you guys just left holding the wrecked vehicle parts, I guess, so.
Yeah, not only that, but, yeah, I mean, these same taxpayers that are complaining because we want that are the ones footing the bill for them.
Yeah.
Dave, you
Dave,
have a
there's a
question
question.
back
There's a
there?
question.
Yes, sir.
So just to touch on that, so we've had a few of them so far that have held payment from us because of not having ordinance.
Okay.
And we actually gave them Taylor Township's ordinance, even though it was in Houston Township, and this was actually, the check that I just told you we got. We actually used Taylor's ordinance. They said, well, we'll try it, see what happens,
Mhm.
and it worked. So, Just wanted to throw that out there.
All right.
They have
So there is
held-
benefit to it, so
yes,
that's
they-
good.
They have
That's
held
what we need to know.
payment and didn't wanna pay just because of not having.
I think what this board ought to do, obviously, we're not gonna fight about the details, but I think what we need to do is sit down and put our ideas down, kind of combine them, and before we do anything, we will get in touch with the fire company, have you guys take a look at it as well. See if it meets your needs.
I would like to do it that way and have a draft and a discussion and not go right to decision-making or potential decision-making. So that works for me.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll put a draft together and probably have a discussion at the next meeting, and maybe we'll invite you guys over, and
And part of our meeting
I
can
know
be a
we're
work
back in
session.
June already, right? I know we're coming back in June, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, if we can get this addressed
Well-
in May, is that possible?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and then.
If you guys
we
at
have
least
a
look
June
at it.
I'm okay with
You're
it.
gonna come in June to give your report on status and spending and another status, right?
Even if we all agree in May, then we're still gonna have to vote to advertise the ordinance and hold a public
Right.
hearing. It takes a while, so, I mean, we can't just wave a wand and make it happen tomorrow. so.
Right, I understand
But,
that.
but I think this board's certainly capable of putting together, I think, a good ordinance that benefits the people, taxpayers, benefits the fire company. It sounds like you guys needed to get money flowing in from the people that are responsible, so I don't think anybody has a problem with that. Everybody good?
Good.
Thanks, Mike. Unless you got anything else you want to impart?
No, I don't know these guys.
Well, I guess I could say one thing. So our outdoorsman raffle tickets are finally printed. So we'll be getting them out here shortly. And this weekend, we'll be doing the trout tournament. So our kitchen, we're gonna have early mornings. We'll be starting tomorrow night at 3 p.m. The kitchen will be open. And then Saturday at 3 a.m. it'll start, run all day. And
Where can we
Sunday
get
at
raffle
6.
tickets?
Over there.
Well, if you come on over this weekend, I'll have a bunch of them.
Is that
Okay.
for the tournament?
Yes.
And when did that actually start? Did the tournament start yet?
99,
Yeah.
1999. the
No. When does it start this
Oh,
week?
Saturday.
This Saturday, okay.
Yeah, registration is.
They'll be stocking this week then, tagged fish.
Stock it Friday night,
Okay,
tomorrow night they stock it.
okay.
Yeah, registration
And
is.
then they stock it again Saturday night.
But no, they do it all at one time.
They're not doing the extra tax anymore?
They do, but it's all one time.
Okay. I was involved with it for 12 years and I
Yeah.
finally had enough.
Okay.
Enough fun with the fish, huh?
But if you want meat raffle tickets, I have it.
Oh, you have some? Okay. I will buy some tickets off of you.
Started that, didn't
Anything else from the fire company? Any questions else for the fire company? All right, we'll go on to the next agenda item. Thanks for coming in, guys.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
guys.
Glad we got all that cleared up. And maybe we can help you out in a positive way here, so. All right, next up, 2024 road resurfacing projects.
Okay, so this week we opened our bids for the 2024 projects. We had 4 bid packets come in, and this year Glen Hallbegger was our low bidder. Come in under budget at $285,249.15.
Would you just give a list of the projects that we're doing?
As long as I can
Just that
remember,
covers,
there's been a
yeah.
lot going on. So that would be Municipal Lane, Autumn Circle, as well as half of Trotter Farm Development, so Saddle Ridge, Harness Downs.
That phase one?
The old section
Yeah.
that is
So if you live in the new
On-
section, you're gonna have to wait.
unraveling. So, the newer section, actually, that section's still in really good shape, thankfully. Like I said, it's those 5 projects, and so all I'm looking for tonight is, to award that bid if,
Chuck, can you give me the list
Sure.
again? I'm sorry.
yeah, so it would be Autumn Circle, Municipal Lane, Saddle Ridge, Harness Downs, Bridle Path, and Trail Run. I lose track of those ones in Trotter Farm, to be real honest.
And what was the amount for Hallbaker being the low bidder?
285,249.15.
15 cents.
Yep, gotta get the 15 cents in there.
Was it significantly below the budget?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, these came back, they're very, very competitive this year. So we're seeing some really good numbers.
Good.
Do I hear a motion to award the bid?
I move to award the bids.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion by the board? Call for the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations to Hallbakers. Township reports. Anybody got anything for the treasurer, secretary, or roadmaster? Hearing none. Authority board reports are online, can be looked up. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you for coming in. Meeting adjourned at 7:55 PM.